Welcome to the Vital Doc Talk podcast. And today I have Dr. Modestas joining us. And he's actually not even from the US. He's actually a UK doctor. Dr. Modestas, welcome to the show.
Thanks for inviting, and pleasure, joining and sharing my experiences. So as you said, I am actually from Lithuania. I finished all my medical trainings in Lithuania. And in 2005, with all family, we came to do a few locum jobs in Northern Ireland, in Belfast, which is part of UK. And since then, I've been, practicing a little bit in NHS, and then I moved back into my private practice, where I decided to use more holistic approaches. And at this moment, I'm completely holistic doctor, trying to figure out why disease starts, what are reasons behind, and first of all, trying to help with herbs, with homeopathy, with acupuncture, new technologies, red lasers, people like more and more of them, bioresonance, EMF, all frequencies therapies, which are becoming more and more, I think, popular, and a lot of patients have amazing results. And as you said, when I completely left National Health Service and started my private practice, it was kind of a little bit worrying and trying to find where I get these patients, because it's like finding the patients who are looking for you. It's quite a niche, and we always have patients who either have, they already tried acupuncture at some point, or maybe parents, liked and tried herbal treatments, and they'll know and try that. But most of patients I am getting are ones who are not getting good results with modern medicine. And they already tried all chemicals, and I'm last call for them to try something different. And the biggest advantage, and I think, is that you can't hurt anyone with kinesiology, with herbs, with good supplementation of vitamins and supplements. So it's I'm really enjoying the current my position, and that if they come to me and, I offer help, which I know will not hurt them, and even adjusting little bit lifestyle, diet, intermittent fasting, or, one day water fast. It's amazing, it's amazing tools that are cheap and they deliver amazing results.
That's fantastic, and that's such a broad background. I love how many different things you offer, and also how you're cutting edge. And you look at, we obviously at our agency when we started, we work with naturopaths mainly is when we started, and then we started branching out. But you do holistic, but then at the same time you have cutting edge technology that you have that lens as well. So that's really awesome. And like you said, when you first started out, you did have that challenge of getting patients, et cetera. And, I talk to doctors all the time about how some of them have told me that they thought that when they start, they would just get patients because they're a doctor somehow, et cetera. What was your background? Did you know you were going to have to do marketing? What were your thoughts before? I'm not saying like today, but before you even started, like, what were your thoughts of how you were going to do marketing then?
Because I am, with all our family, we are involved in organic farms, and one of closest organic farm near where we live, we volunteer, and one day per week we go and help farmers to do whatever they needed that day. And because they have a good turnaround of people, I spoke with the owner, and he allowed me to put my leaflets. And when I put my leaflets, a lot of people started asking, oh, what you do, what this is about. And, people are coming for produce every day. But on that day, instead of me helping working on farm, I was more quickly chatting with patients and, sometimes giving an advice on whatever issue they had at that moment. And little by little that my involvement, our family involvement with organic farm really helped to develop that really good link, because people and patients started coming just to see what it is, what I do. And a lot of, I think successful part was that I sold my service as MOT. I said, everyone understands that car needs MOT once a year. So every human needs at least once a year, little MOT to check where you are, what's happening. And as MOT service, I did little promotion and people started coming just to check, the blood pressure, to check glucose levels, fasting glucose levels, simple things. And from that kind of, sometimes you pick up something, sometimes they need more detailed bloods done. And, we have really good service in UK where you can order blood kit, which arrives to patients' home and they can nearly check anything from finger prick. So you don't need to go to any labs. You don't need even, to take blood from the vein. It's like really very simple service, which really helps to, especially if you need to quickly check something. And it's very, convenient because the whole kit arrives to patient home address.
That's really interesting. So basically, to go back a little bit there, when you first started, it sounds like you had this benefit of you were already volunteering, which that's a good tip for you doctors out there. You should start volunteering, and maybe, it sounds like Dr. Modestas was in a good position where he could actually, he was already volunteering where his patients were, potentially. So you guys should do the same thing, where are your ideal patients, go volunteer there and form those connections. And then secondly, in your conversations, since you knew the community, you already naturally had a good, easy kind of first step surface, which was, I'm not a doctor. So it was called, you said MOT. Is that like standard, regular type of checkups type of thing?
Yes, exactly. Just kind of to come over, to check, the diet, what they're eating, how often they're eating, how they sleep, are they exercising or not, kind of just to go through little bit whole life, little medical history, checking blood pressure, checking, I always offer free glucose check, and, all these things kind of really helped for them to realize, oh, maybe this needs more attention, or maybe this, sounds that would be good to improve. And from there, I realized that especially in Belfast, where we live, we have a few, they call natural health shops that specializes in organic foods, multivitamins, specific vitamins and supplements. And, so they are kind of holistic alternative to medicines. And I started engaging with them, and I started doing these little, I called Meet the Doctor events. Once a week, I would go in the morning, and let's say from 10 till 2 would be available for patients who pop in to that health shop. If they have any questions, or if they want to check, which supplement or which herb would be better for their condition, and kind of started, picking a few patients there as well. So that service would be, again, free, and they could have with me 10-15-minute chat in the store about whatever they are looking for.
And I really like that model, right? Because in marketing, we have a term called moving the free line. And basically, you've got the checkups, right? Which is the first kind of point of contact where people just get to you, and that's how you get to know them, offer free glucose checks, et cetera. And then after that, you've got, we call it laddering, where you've got the next stage, and then the next stage after that, and then the next stage after that. So this is a really smart model you implemented. Probably number one, it was natural, and then number two, it was well thought out. And then that's how you grew your practice. In your year one, did you find yourself volunteering more than today because now you're probably so busy with your patients? Or Was it kind of like just like a lifestyle type of thing? How did you start building your clientele? Did you like do anything to get more referrals? Did you just focus on being quality?
The best, I think, outcome was that patients who I helped, they realized, that, yeah, these things work. And they started sending family members, friends, and, spread, word of mouth. I think it was the most successful for me. And of course, I had my Facebook page, I had my own website, and kind of the patients started leaving comments and reviews, and, and that, as you said, time going really helped. Now it's easy because, I have 2,500 followers on Facebook. I have good reviews from different people, so everyone knows someone. And if they see, oh, that person left good review, most likely it's reasonable. So reviews I think it took time to collect them, but now I have quite a few my business reviews on Google and the Google account and Facebook. I think these things kind of worked out.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
yeah. But the biggest kind of, I think, victory was word of mouth.
no, for sure. 100%. I think that's where it starts. I think it starts with obviously having quality service. In fact, the book I constantly talk about is called The Referral Engine. And they say if you don't have a remarkable service, no one's going to make a remark about it, right? It's not going to be noticeable. So you want to make sure you're constantly doing a good job. And then whenever I'm talking to doctors, guys, I always talk to them about getting those Google reviews, getting the Facebook reviews, et cetera, and building up your community locally and empowering
Yes.
them. And it sounds like Dr. Modestas has done a fantastic job here with that. Again, very well thought out. And naturally, if you just do that, you'll start building up a practice. Now, there's stuff obviously you can do to speed it up, such as like email, getting their email addresses and then hitting them up through an email list, doing prizes and all sorts of different things that way. But I think that it just goes to show that, what your local community thinks is the most important. And, doing stuff like video testimonials, et cetera, can also help. Dr. Modestas, have you ever done like any testimonials or, what do you do to ensure that you've got like a really good practice and you have really good services?
Somehow it happened that my patients who came, from the people that I met in my clinic, few of them, they were doing podcasts for different reasons, and so I have already, quite a few podcasts recorded before about who I am, what I'm doing, why I'm doing what I'm doing. And these patients already left their own opinion about me and how we met and the whole process. So you're right, all these things, local newspaper published, about me and kind of new technologies and how they find the place now. And so all these things, I think together, little by little, they create, kind of more interest about you, and people, they think, oh, I heard about him, so yeah, let's next time when something happens, they decide to come to see you, so it takes time, but after now 2 years, I'm busy and very happy with what I'm doing. Another thing that I just remembered, which I tried locally, we have kind of communities that people from, street or kind of local area, they meet for chats and kind of telling each other interesting stories. And actually, a lot of them are inviting speakers. And so again, I volunteer kind of to share, how to look after yourself, kind of, again, it's pro bono speech to the local community, like 20, 30 people in the room about how they can improve the health, sleep, and what they, what kind of they should look for signs, and then kind of to go to doctor to see earlier than later.
Interesting. And I think also it goes back to the fact of compounding, right? Like all these little things you do, you get a patient, you get a review from them, then maybe the local news station, they see you. So it starts compounding over time,
Yes.
and then it
Yeah.
builds into a huge practice, guys. And I think that is also something I say, right? Don't just be on Google reviews and Facebook and Yelp, et cetera, right? Once you keep doing this consistently, which what you've done, Dr. Modestas, then it starts really snowballing from there. And something I think you're also doing that we haven't even talked about is you live your practice in your values. Like I can just see it. Basically, you know, your
Yeah.
family, you come from farmers, right? So you promote eating holistically, right? So all of
Yes.
that goes in
Organic
line.
foods. Yes. And another thing, you're right. You know, I was not as healthy as I am. And as a surgeon, you know, as a trained surgeon, I was a little bit overweight. I was not sleeping well. My blood pressure was a little bit up. So this was one of my reasons that why I decided completely to change my lifestyle, because working in a hospital was not healthy for myself. And so by changing my own, you know, family eating habits, in implementing intermittent fasting, you know, 1 day per week we don't eat at all, it's just water fast, usually Monday. We go and swim at least twice or three times a week in local Irish Sea, you know, which is quite cold at this moment, around just 10 degrees of Celsius, you know, but we do that all year round. And we have quite a lot of people, local people, who do these, you know, short 1-3 minute swims. And this is becoming more and more popular. So you're right, I walk my talk, you know, so whatever I recommend, I do it myself. So I think that's why, you know, it works, and patients, you know, they can see that, they see me swimming as well. I do, they call that Friday, 5 p.m. after, you know, the farm is finished. I do guided swim in Irish Sea. So we do a little bit of Wim Hof warm up, and we go, you know, whatever number of people come, 2 or 3 or 5, and we go for a 1 or 3 minutes, you know, swim, and kind of resetting your immune system.
I love that, right? Because that means, so guys, you know, if you're paying attention, and I talk about this all the time also in terms of branding yourself and building a good reputation, it's much easier to build a great reputation when you really believe it, and even better when you live it. And that's what Dr. Modestas has done here. And basically, as he's doing that, his local community members, right? And this is just stuff he does anyways, Wim Hof, etc. Right now, they can come into his practice and join him also in this part of the lifestyle that he lives. So it becomes a natural, it's very natural. So Dr. Modestas, getting off of marketing, because I feel like there's a lot of good stuff. It might be minor, right? Because we could talk about tactical stuff, right? Like, hey, have a Facebook page and basically post regularly, and then you know, message your customers and ask them what you could do better. And if they say, hey, you know, your patients say you can't do anything better, then say, hey, I love a review, etc. But on the flip side, how about, you know, challenging times? You know, how do you overcome those? Because right now, obviously, it's coronavirus. You know, a lot of people have to work remote, et cetera. How have you been impacted? And obviously, how are you overcoming it right now?
You're right. You know, everyone is stressed and everyone needs support. And I offered again myself for free, first 10-15 minutes video chat, kind of just check up what's happening, where they are they, you know, can I help any way? So yeah, that worked very well, and I was very busy through whole coronavirus lockdown. So, and a lot of patients, maybe around 50%, they decided, okay, that's helpful, you know, video chat and going through, you know, what patient is feeling at this moment, and kind of giving them guidance. And the main time I spent during the lockdown was teaching them how to breathe, how to try different breathing techniques to calm down nervous system, and to show that you can control, you know, your biggest response, you can control your heart rate and things like that. So a lot of my lockdown time, and little bit of earnings was from teaching them how to implement, to find the personalized way for that patient, how to breathe. Because my whole focus, my practice focus, is to find personal approach to that patient, not necessarily, because again, Wim Hof works for many people, but not for everyone. So you need to find what is doable and what that patient can do at this moment, and like 1, 2, 3 steps that they can grab something, tools, method that they could use when they feel stressed.
That's awesome. And you guys, that goes back to the model, right? It's like I said before, moving the free line. This is why I have an SEO ebook, right? You offer value into the community, and that's going to build a lot of trust. And then they're going to, be loyal fans and users. So that's awesome that you've uncovered these tips. You could even say they're secrets, because a lot of people don't think about this stuff or even do it. Whenever I talk to other doctors in the industry and when we advise them. So Dr. Modestas, what is one kind of vital takeaway or action step, if you could talk to other doctors and give them this advice, what would it be to improve their practice?
I think the biggest thing is to be open-minded. And I am trained as a surgeon, and I saw so many miracles. And for someone deeply believing and praying can do a miracle and can heal them. For someone, they will try special herbal mix. Someone who believes will take homeopathy and the problem will be completely gone. Someone will use right, machines and right frequencies, and they will be completely again. So I think as a doctors, we are really vital to not dismiss anything, to listen to the background, what patient already tried, what he's open to try. And at that moment, I think you need to take responsibility and give another plan for patient to try, and from holistic perspective, I like that by changing little bit lifestyle, adding missing nutrients, amino acids, vitamins, you really can make a huge impact. And then when patient feels that, oh, something is happening, something is changing, I have more energy, I feel better, pain is gone, they start believing that actually there is a way out. You don't need to be on antidepressant forever, or you don't need to be on antihypertensive tablet for life, So it's just, the biggest thing is be open-minded, listen to patient, what he is. I think, in my own practice, I was so focused on sending my message through, as a doctor, as a, being trained and kind of, your guidelines, okay, this is a condition this patient needs to do, but that patient might not be ready now. It's what we know patient needs to do. It's not necessarily what patient is ready to do. And this kind of finding and matching patient needs and readiness with what I think is the biggest, golden nugget.
That's awesome. And I definitely agree. If you're going to potentially improve your practice, and if you have that mindset of constant improvement, you've got to have an open mind, because you constantly got to learn. You always got to learn new things and, get involved, whether it's obviously improving the practice side or the business side. If you just have a closed mind, et cetera, then, that's where you can fail. So read, there's tons of books, White Coat Investor. I mentioned the Referral Engine. Velvet Rope Economy is a great one. There's all these great information sources and people in your community you guys should interact with. So thank you so much, Dr. Modestas. And where can people find you, and what's your contact info?
So yes, my website, because I practice in UK, in Lithuania, and in Spain, is holisticdoctor.eu. And in UK, it's holisticdoctor.uk. And on Facebook, it's holisticdoctor.eu as well. So facebook.com/holisticdoctor.eu. So all these things we will put under our chat, in the links, and they can look through, what I gathered so far. And good luck, everyone. And, it's amazing time. Now patients are looking for this information, And I think this is the best time to try and practice, holistic things and, really to make a big difference.
Awesome. And thank you guys again. That was another episode of Vital Doc Talk.